So we've got some brand new Fox polls today, and they show that Americans believe President Obama is downplaying the threat to our nation from terrorism. Take a look at that number. The question was, is the U.S. at war with radical Islam? 56% say yes, it is. And we know that the White House does not use that term. 37% say no, it is not. The White House, as I said, does not characterize the recent terror attacks as, quote, Islamic extremism. Some say that there's too much of a fuss about that. Some say there is not. I am joined now by South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham, who is a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, not the chairman, as I said before. That would be his good friend, John McCain, who just called us during the break. No, I'm just kidding. Well, we'll see what comes of that. So anyway, that poll is pretty stunning. It seems that 56% of Americans have no problem using the term Islamic radicalism, radical Islam, because they believe that that's exactly what we're up against.
Right. Well, as to the 37%, I think you're probably worried about tainting the religion. Don't be. The biggest victims of radical Islam are innocent Muslims, so it's not about the faith. It's about a radical ideology that is embracing a religious doctrine that requires radical Islamists to kill fellow Muslims, Christians, Jews, agnostics, atheists, anybody that disagrees with them. Call it what it is, radical Islam on the march.
Let's take a look at a couple more polls, Senator, that I think also shed some light on where people are in their thinking about this right now. The best way for the U.S. to handle terrorists, 60% say capture, interrogate, and trial. Only 24% want to see them killed with drones. And that, has basically been the strategy of this White House to kill these terrorists when they find them with drones. Absolutely. Not to have boots on the ground and not to take them into custody and question them in many cases. What do you think about that?
In war, the preferred option is always to capture the enemy to gather intelligence. But we don't have a wartime strategy. This president and Eric Holder have criminalized the war. We've captured in the last 2 years 4 very high-value targets associated with bin Laden, and within hours or days they were read their Miranda rights. They should be held as enemy combatants, sent to Guantanamo Bay for intelligence gathering purposes, not treated as common criminals. So it's hard to interrogate a dead man. So I do find myself in the camp of wanting to capture as many as possible so we can avoid the next attack.
All right, let's take a look at one more of these. This one is the greatest threat to future generations. 52% say global terrorism, 23% say climate change, 16% say nukes in Iran. I think some people would see some connection between number 1 and number 3 in the big picture as we go forward. But, it's interesting to me that the president spent such a small amount of time in his State of the Union address addressing the issue that apparently most people think is presents the most danger to us at the moment.
Well, I think we've lost confidence in our president to be honest with us about the threats we face. When he called ISIL the JV team, that blew up in his face. When he said that Somalia and Yemen were great examples of his counterinsurgency strategy, now Yemen's been toppled. At the end of the day, Putin is on the march. He's not being contained. I think people have lost confidence in the president to communicate with us honestly about the threats. He oversells his successes. Bin Laden may be dead, but al-Qaeda's certainly not decimated. Finally, I've never seen more organizations with the capability to strike the homeland and the desire to strike the homeland than exists now, than any time before 9/11. ISIL in Syria, al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula in Yemen, al-Nusra in Libya and Syria, all have greater capacity to strike the homeland today than they did when President Obama took office, and his strategy to degrade and destroy ISIL is failing.
Obviously, this is something that you feel very strongly about. You've put a lot of your time and effort and travel into this, and my suspicion is that it is what leads to the announcement that you want to make in terms of your own ambitions for 2016. Tell us what you are planning.
Well, I'm going to take a look at the presidential primary on the Republican side. We'll have an organization up and running today called Security Through Strength. And this organization will allow people to donate money and, their time and resources to see if there's a pathway forward for me. Ronald Reagan famously said his goal was to have peace through strength. In my view, you can never have peace with radical Islam. They want to destroy us and our way of life, so peaceful coexistence is a non-starter from their point of view, and quite frankly, from my point of view. But you can have security. You can have a strong military, keeping the fight over there so it doesn't come here, an economy that grows and affects everybody, an energy-independent America gives us security through strength. So I'm looking for security, not peace with radical Islam, and that means we need partners. So I'm going to look at it, Martha, and we'll see if there's a pathway forward for a guy like me. Time will tell.
There's a lot of names in the mix, and it looks like you're ready to add yours and certainly your own perspective on what is the most pressing issue that faces us right now. Senator Lindsey Graham, always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.